You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that has permanently scarred its hand from playing Mario Party 1.
It's never going to get better.
No, it'll never be the same
Never
again.
be the same.
You'll never play piano again.
If only I would have ordered the special gloves. I'm Cody.
I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Samantha.
Oh, we have a great show for you this week. A whole bunch of things to talk about, including the closure of G4, a whole bunch of stuff with Bayonetta 3, and some game news. But first, let's talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out!
Did you like that bit where I previewed the second half of the show in the first half of the show? It's almost like a professional show or something.
I don't know why we never thought of that before.
I don't know either, but hey, progress.
Yeah, it's only taken 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years? I feel like it's been longer than that.
Probably. I
Well,
don't want
who
to think
knows?
about it.
I know.
I don't wanna think about it. It's all right.
I
It's
know
all
we're
good.
over like 300 something episodes.
Oh, sure. I mean, technically, Nerd Overload's been around since 2011, but
yeah.
so things we've been doing this week. To start things off, I've been watching Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule.
Nice.
I got a wild hair and started watching a whole bunch of old Adult Swim, like late night live action and cartoons and stuff. And the namesake and the impetus of our theme song for the Check It Out section. Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule. Boy, that show is weird, but I love it.
I bet there's probably a ton of them I haven't even seen.
There are 4 seasons of it.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I only ever saw like the first 2.
I mean, seasons are only 6 episodes long, so it's not a whole lot of show. But the final episode of the series isn't technically part of season 4. It's a special because in the last episode of season 4, Stephen Brule gets arrested. So there's one episode called Check It Out with Scott Clam. And it's no joke. It's 11 minutes of 2 guys very boring talking about toy trains.
Oh my God.
Like the whole joke is someone else takes over the show and it's just boring and there's nothing to it.
That's genius.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But yes, so Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule is a show starring John C. Reilly as the titular Steve Brule.
In his greatest role of his life.
It might be. Steve Brule is a madman. He is...
I don't even know how you describe Steve Brule.
I'm not sure. He mispronounces words constantly. He has very weird ideas about the world around him.
Just like very little self-awareness
Yes,
at all.
Very little. And they would basically just wind him up and go to locations and film. Apparently, they would not tell anyone that this is for a fake show. And he was just unrecognizable enough that no one recognized him as John C. Reilly. Most people played along once they figured out the bit. Some people didn't. From what I understand, the doctor that he speaks to in the first episode, Dr. Jimmy Brungus, it's not. It's like Johnny Bowen or something like that, but he keeps mispronouncing his name.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah, I never got the joke. Thought he was talking to a real other doctor. The show is great. It's weird. It's super weird, but I mean that's what you get from Tim Heidecker and
Eric Wareheim.
Yeah,
Especially
Tim and
during
Eric.
that particular time period.
In Adult Swim history.
Yeah.
And I forgot that it had a bunch of other Tim and Eric awesome show characters pop up, including Robert Axelrod, who was the voice of Lord Zed from the Power Rangers. he's that Terry Bruce Hiplo, the guy who's all hunched over talking about chipped beef and stuff. That's him. Yeah.
Huh.
But no, I watched that. I watched their ripoff of Sid and Marty Krofft stuff, Saul of the Mole Men.
No, it's very particular. It's a Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost.
It's Land of the Lost, exactly.
Right, but the monster costumes and stuff are very Sid and Marty Krofft as well. But or like HR Pup and Stuff style.
Yeah.
That show is also very weird.
I remember liking it back in the day.
I liked it. There's 20 episodes of it. There's a lot.
It has a good theme song sung
It
by
does.
Trey Parker, I believe.
Who had nothing to do with the production at all. But it was just like, I'll write a song for it. Why not? It's old Adult Swim is the best Adult Swim. I feel.
I don't know.
I try to watch occasionally like a new show that they've put out, and it bounces off me almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It makes me feel old because I'm like, I don't get it. This isn't good. Except for Smiling Friends, which is very
Smiling
good.
Friends is pretty good. Smiling Friends is all right.
Did you see their, I don't know if it's Adult Swim or it might have just been like an HBO Max thing. There was this really bad animated adult cartoon called The Adventures of Crystal something. It's like set in Australia. It's got these two girls.
Oh, the YOLO Crystal Fantasy?
Yeah. There's a new season coming out.
I think I watched the first episode of that and I was like, nope.
I watched the whole thing.
See, that's the thing with the Adult Swim stuff. You know right away whether this is going to grab you or you're going to bounce off it. There is no honeymoon period for any of their shows. It's either yes or big no.
It was kind of like that for me for a lot of like their older shows. Like I hated 12 Ounce Mouse.
12 Ounce Mouse was not very good.
I don't think it's supposed to be.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't like that one. I didn't like Super Jail.
Super Jail's good. I like Super Jail.
I hate Squidbillies.
I love Squidbillies. Squidbillies is very funny.
I was never a big fan of Perfect Hair Forever.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Because it was so off the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Me and my sister used to watch that one.
It was like the Space Ghost team reacting to anime being popular.
That's true. Yeah. And it kept having Space Ghost just wander through the sets.
Yeah.
Because his show had been canceled and he's just wandering around. That was kind of funny. But it's weird. I guess because I'm old, I don't consider those as old Adult Swim, although technically I guess they are. I consider like the Brack Show and not even the Brack Show.
Space Ghost,
Aqua
Teen,
and C Lab 2021. I consider those like OG.
Because they are.
That is
the
original. The original lineup was Space Ghost, Home Movies.
Oh yeah, Home Movies.
Aqua Teen.
There weren't many shows because the Adult Swim block was very small.
Right.
Because they also did the Toonami After Dark.
They did the anime stuff. Yeah.
Where they had the uncut episodes of like Gundam Wing and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that.
Right.
And like Dot Hack, which
I
never
Dot
actually watched. Like the few times I watched it, it seemed like nobody ever fought, even though they all had like swords and stuff.
They just all kind of talked and stuff.
Yeah.
They yelled at each other. I watched one episode of
I'm trapped in this world.
Yeah.
I played the PlayStation game when it came out. It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. The games are great.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been checking out this week. I've been watching a bunch of stuff. I also got caught up on, no one's going to care about this, I got caught up on this season's Japanese Power Rangers, DonBrothers. And it is fascinating to watch because, one, it makes almost no sense. Things just bounce from one thing to the other. Two, we're 33 episodes in, and the entire team does not know who each other are yet. The Black Ranger is still a mystery. I mean, we know who the Black Ranger is, but the rest of the team doesn't know. For the first 10 episodes, no one knew who each other was. They would just get a warning and be transformed automatically and teleported to the fight scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
Way to cut cost there.
Yeah. And despite the Red Ranger being like the number one, I'm the guy that's going to do the thing.
I'm the Leonardo.
Yeah, I'm the Leonardo. The point of view character is the Yellow Ranger.
Huh.
Is the lone lady on the team. So everything is being reacted to from her perspective almost. And it's really, really fascinating. It's being written by a guy named Toshiki Inoue. He wrote Jetman. He's an old school guy.
Old school Sentai.
Before it became even more of a toy commercial than it already was. And it's fascinating because I have never seen a show that has a weekly toy gimmick that gets ignored so completely. Because it's your at one point, the Power Rangers over there went from, hey, buy the robots, buy the transformation thing, get the weapons, buy the toy, to there are a bunch of tiny little collectibles that go along with the toy so that you have things to buy every couple of weeks.
Like
and
the shows, like the Ranger keys for Go
like
Kaiser.
the Ranger keys, or the Q globes from Q Ranger, or like
all the little collectible trains
all
for
the collectible trains
for the Tokuger one.
Yeah, so like there was a million little things to go along with the big thing, and
they gotta have something to put in the box with the candy.
Exactly,
that they sell at the candy store.
Exactly, and
for tax reasons.
Right, right. And anyway, is old school. Back before they had any of that stuff, so their Bandai is mandating that he has to push the toys, push the stuff, and Rangers will get a new toy, and it gets 2 seconds of screen time because he's like, I don't care about this. Let's get back to the story.
Let's do the superhero fight.
Yeah, let's do the fights. Let's have interpersonal conflict between the Rangers. Let's have a Pink Ranger who actively murdered a man because he threatened his wife.
Oh. Wait, Pink Ranger's a guy in this one?
First time ever Pink Ranger is a guy.
Nice.
Yeah. Like the gimmick this season was supposed to be, oh, the Rangers can turn into other past Rangers, but only of their color. And the joke was, oh, the Pink Ranger wears, he keeps having to wear dresses. That gimmick disappears after episode 4 because Inoue is like, I'm not writing this crap.
Yeah, that's all. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bad guys this season are doing the same thing that the good. They're not like evil masterminds. They're working in parallel to the heroes. They both want to stop the monsters, but the heroes want to turn the monsters back into humans because they're transformed humans. The villains are like, we're going to stop the monsters by blowing them up.
By any means necessary.
So they're not quite they're less of a villain faction and more of a parallel, more rogue team. And it's fascinating. It's cool to watch.
So like the Rangers are good and the other people are kind of morally gray?
Morally gray aliens from another dimension. Yes.
God, I love Sentai.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
So goofy.
Yeah.
I love Japanese superhero TV shows.
It's excellent. Anyway, I've talked too much. Go, someone go.
We've got it. We've been watching horror movies because it's October.
Oh, it's spooky month.
We do.
Yeah, it's spooky month.
We might as well talk about Halloween Ends because that's the newest thing. That's
sure.
The hot newness.
Oh, did you get a Peacock just to watch it? Or did you get the high seas?
I found it ways.
Okay. Yeah, that's all. Yep. Okay.
It was fine, I guess. Yeah. All of the David Gordon Green is the director of this trilogy of Halloween movies, and I feel like they've gotten progressively less good as it has gone
I've seen all
on.
kinds of reviews of people not liking it.
Yeah, it's not bad. The people who trash on these 3 movies are mad because they're not John Carpenter's Halloween.
Sure.
Which of course they're not going to be.
Of course they're not going to be.
Yeah, only John Carpenter can make John Carpenter's Halloween.
Speaking of this, you can get back to it in a sec. This reminds me of a John Carpenter quote that I love. He says, he has said in the past, I really like these Halloween remakes. It's a very special thing because I sit on my couch and I hold out my hand, and a check falls into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I read an interview with him the other day, and they asked him if he thought the movie was good, and he's like, yeah, I think it's a pretty good movie, but I just make the music. It's not really up to me.
Yeah.
That's me paraphrasing, but it was very much
all he
those
does
lines.
is sit on his couch and play video games and makes awesome synthwave music now.
Yeah.
Although he said he's interested in directing a Dead Space.
Oh, that would
movie.
be so good.
He's like, I love the game Dead Space. I would love to make this movie. Anyway, go ahead.
But the worst part of this movie and the other 2 is they feel not so much the first one, because the first one did say something. It had something to say about trauma and facing trauma and what it does to you as a person if you don't let it go. But past that, it feels like they're trying to find something to say about evil and society and where evil comes from, but it never coalesces into like an actual point.
I mean, check out all this society.
Yeah.
We live in a society.
To the point where it's just like, what are you trying to get across? Because you're trying to do something. They're trying to make it like an elevated horror thing, which I hate that phrase.
Yeah.
But they're trying to do something and they're just not getting there. And and if you're doing that, like you have
Do
to
it better.
Yeah.
Do it better.
You
Yeah.
have to land it. You can't just say, hey, this is just a slasher movie where Michael Myers kills people. No, you're trying to do something else, and it's not working. You should really choose one or the other.
Right. How is Jamie Lee Curtis in it?
Oh, she's
Yeah,
fantastic.
she's probably the best part of the whole movie.
Oh, good.
I did read somewhere that I thought she said this is her last one. Like, she is done. She is done with the
Yeah,
franchise.
she carries all of those movies that she nails every scene the whole time.
Well, that's good. That's good. She is a really fantastic actress. I guess I've always known that she's she was pretty good, but like, I don't think she's made a bad movie. She was great in Knives Out. She was great in, it's an older movie, but Trading Spaces she was great in. Like,
Yeah, I love that movie.
Was that Terror Train? That movie was not good.
but was she good in it? Yeah, okay. That's fair.
But yeah, she's fantastic and
Good.
continues to be in this movie to the point where she's almost carrying the whole thing. And visually, it's cool. Like, Michael Myers' decrepit molding mask looks rad.
Nice.
And like, it has some cool kills in it too. The beginning of the movie, we're in a junkyard and there's like this crusher machine. And I'm like, somebody's gonna fall in that. When's that gonna happen? And we got there. Like,
Good.
it gets there.
Good.
It's
good.
the fireworks factory of the movie. Like,
Okay.
when are we gonna get to the fireworks? But like, overall, it's just middling at best. I think
It didn't stick the landing.
No.
That's what it sounds like. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of how I felt about Rob Zombie's second Halloween movie. It didn't stick the landing.
As
Like, the
far-
first one was so good, and the second one's kind of meh.
As far as horror sequels go, I think these movies are going above and beyond. They're mostly terrible. Like,
Yeah.
The fact that they're watchable, I guess, is something.
That's true.
Yeah.
Out of like what 7 Nightmare on Elm Streets, maybe 3 of them are good.
Yeah, or Friday the 13th. Most of those are terrible.
Jason Takes Manhattan is a special kind of film.
yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we watched that not too long ago. It is bad, but in a fun way.
Oh,
Though I think one of the
yes.
best things to come out of Jason Takes Manhattan, though, is when Arsenio Hall brought Jason onto the show to promo the movie.
promo it, and he just sat there.
Quietly just staring at him, and it like made him unnerved.
I like when that kid gets his head punched off.
Yep, that was good. That was good. There was also, I forget which, I think it was part 4 or part 5. In one of the kills, he picks up a camper and a sleeping bag and just swings it against a tree.
Yeah.
and it's very clearly like a dummy or like a sack of potatoes or something.
It's
And
iconic.
it's so stupid.
But it's iconic.
Yeah.
It's even in the video game.
Yep.
Is it spoilers to say that Michael Myers dies in this movie?
I mean,
it's called Halloween Ends.
It kind of does in every movie, sort of.
That's true.
Yeah, it's fine.
But then it's always ambiguous.
Yeah, but it felt like not as powerful as it should have been, especially in the previous movie when they were acting like he had some sort of supernatural
Natural.
regenerative powers or something.
Well, I've heard
that was suddenly gone.
Well, there's a guy that I work with who's really into like horror movies are like his entire personality. He talked about it, and he's talked about like this thing called the entity. It's called the Shape, or whatever.
Yeah, that's what Michael. That's what they always credit him as, the Shape in the credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's this thing. It's not necessarily Michael himself. It's a thing that possesses Michael that kind of keeps him going.
Right. Yeah.
And they think it's going to eventually jump off to somebody else, and there's going to be a new.
Well, that was halfway through the original run. They did a movie or two that featured that concept, and it was dropped because it wasn't a very good concept.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see maybe what happened. They might be playing with that, and I just didn't pick up on it.
Okay.
Or like maybe Jamie Lee Curtis is the only one that can kill him.
That could be part of it as well. Who knows?
There can be only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There can be only one Myers.
Only he can kill her, and only she can kill him.
It's like Joker and Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're going in and you just want a disposable, like, fun horror movie, it can be that for you.
But what it's trying to say just doesn't quite stick.
Yep.
Gotcha.
We
Okay.
watched, this is a new movie in the VHS series, which is an anthology series. That it's always just a series of horror movies found on a tape somewhere, and there's always a framing story. This time they got rid of the framing story, which is the best thing they could ever have done, because the framing story continually was the worst part of all the other ones.
Yeah.
I only saw the original VHS.
I did not like the first
Oh,
one.
I didn't either. Like the whole thing where like it just opens up a bunch of dude bros just like tearing the shirts off women and they're video recording it. I was like, why am I watching this?
Yeah, I didn't like the first one, or I don't
was
think
garbage.
the second one either. But the third one turned out it was really good. There's a fun story about a sewer rat monster that I love.
Oh, nice.
Is it like a Rat King kind of thing?
You could say that.
Yeah. But this one, all of them take place in 1999, which is prime nostalgia time for all of us.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
right.
Yeah.
When I was 14.
And the conceit of this one is that it's all on one VHS tape that you're watching.
Okay.
Like someone just keeps finding the tape and adding more to it? Or is it like the same people?
It's not that deep.
Oh.
It's just a
Just don't
tape
think
that,
about
that
it.
happens to have a lot of weird stuff on it. It opens with a kid making a stop motion movie
Oh,
with
nice.
with army men,
Okay.
I did that with plastic dinosaurs when I was a kid.
and then it cuts to the first one, which is about punk rock girl band ghosts,
Okay.
zombies that attack some poser kids that make like prank and skate videos.
It's like so well done because it's like totally like late 90s, early 2000, like, you know, like that pop.
Oh,
like,
the pop punk kind
you
of
know what I mean?
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the MTV, like
When everyone wanted to be like Avril Lavigne and buy all their stuff from
Jackass.
PacSun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first bit, I think the first story is okay. I think it was a little bit of a mess. It was kind of all over the place, and they hit the VHS filter a little too hard to the point where like it's harder to follow.
Like too many scan lines or whatever.
Yeah, and like just like garble effects and stuff. The second one was a really good story about a girl trying to get into a sorority that has to spend 24 hours in a coffin, buried alive in a coffin.
Oh, geez.
And it is very intense and very, very good.
I don't know if I could watch that because I have a touch of claustrophobia.
Oh, I hate like that movie with like Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't.
Yeah, no, that movie made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the third one was my absolute favorite. It starts off like somebody had taped an episode of a Nickelodeon game show called Ozzy's Dungeon.
Okay.
And it is 100% Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Excellent. All right.
The music is like dead on, like
It's like we know what we're doing.
a dead on approximation of like the stuff you would have heard on that show.
Did they have a rip off of the Shrine of the Silver Monkeys?
No. But,
Okay.
I mean, conceptually it was similar, and
Conceptually,
I mean,
okay.
kids were wearing golden helmets and,
Oh, gotcha.
and throwing stuff at each other. And the conceit of the game was if you won, you got whatever you wished for. would come
Oh,
true.
okay.
But nobody ever wins the game. And
Like the actual Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they didn't have money for prizes.
Right.
but like you think it's gonna go one way, and then it goes another, and then it goes another. like
Really?
like there's
Okay.
2 solid twists in there, and it is fantastic.
Nice. All right. Cool.
It's wild.
That's excellent.
The other one was like a bunch of teenagers spying on a lady next door that ends up being a Medusa.
Okay.
It was not that great.
it was. They hinted too much.
Yeah, it was too easy to figure out what was going on, which is why I didn't feel bad about spoiling it. It's pretty
Gotcha.
obvious.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just a lot of teenage boys perving out on their neighbor, like to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. They're dirtbags. Teenage boys are dirtbags.
Uh huh.
And then what was the last one? Oh, the last one was Y2K and a bunch of witches in a suburban coven are doing some sort of demon summoning ritual, and the guys running the camera get sent to hell.
Oh no!
And they run around in hell for a while and then find their way back. And that one I don't want to spoil because it was very good.
Okay, all
There's
right.
a lot of cool monsters, and it was just kind of funny.
Okay.
We meet some sort of demon creature woman named Mabel the Skullbiter,
Okay.
and she's a lot of fun.
Does she bite skulls?
Yeah, yeah. I think she does in the movie. But the whole thing is a lot of fun. Even
It sounds like a good anthology.
even the not lower quality, but the
The less interesting.
Yeah, ones are still good enough.
Gotcha. Hey, let's go ahead and take a break here, and when we come back, we'll get into Joss's Check 'em Outs and some news.
Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Dunham, the host of Long Play. Long Play might be, as far as anyone can tell, a hit from coast to coast. Apparently, Long Play may also be an international sensation. I've contacted WZMO's sister station in Paris to check the pulse of the City of Lights. Bonjour! Avec Long Play?
Tu vas te tuer, espèce d'idiot. C'est incroyable.
My French is a little rusty, but I think she said we're a hit.
Imbécile.
I invite you to tune into Long Play Fridays at 11 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. Juste ici on WZMO.
Hey, we're back from the break, and before we get into the news, we're going to do more of Josh's Check 'em Outs.
Check it.
There we go.
Extended edition.
Oh, I'm a little guy. I get a little check it out.
You get a little check it out as a treat.
You get one check it out. I continue to, for some reason, consume Epic's products.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Epic Games.
Yes, Epic Games.
Not Epic's that movie streaming service.
Right.
That's free.
It will never be Tubi.
Hey, Tubi's got all those full moon features.
Tubi is...
Tubi and Pluto actually has some decent stuff.
When all of the streaming services implode, Tubi will be the one left standing.
In the bloodstained sweater.
Yes. All right, go ahead with your thing.
So anyway, so Epic Games, creator of Fortnite, owner of the, Unreal Engine, yada yada yada.
Creator of Jill of the Jungle is their most important accomplishment.
Oh, of course. Yes.
So they mostly just funnel their money into battle royales and ripping people off. But anyway, so they have a new game that came out called Rumbleverse, and it's another battle royale style game, but instead of running around collecting guns and shooting people, it is a whole society based basically on professional style wrestling.
I've seen a lot of this, and it looks like a lot of fun.
It is goofy, and I
Yeah.
have never had so many winning streaks in a battle royale, and I'm not
Nice.
even good. So the whole conceit of the game is you get launched into a city called Grappital City.
Grappital, that's good.
Oh yeah, and there's like all kinds of like on the motifs of buildings and signs and stuff. There's all kinds of wrestling references.
That's a good pun.
I climbed up the side of some building in a match, and there was like a Gothic Art Deco style face on the side of the building, kind of like like New York, kind of like old Gotham style New York kind of stuff. And it was a face that looked a lot like Macho Man with the big mustache that comes
and
down.
stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Everyone in that game is a little bit of the Hulk and a lot of bit Hulk Hogan.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, you can change the way your wrestler fighter guy looks.
Instead of picking up guns, you pick up special moves.
Yep. You pick up special. There are two slots for special moves, and then there are 4 inventory slots that you can pick up. You can either stash another move book, or
Full chickens.
food items, or other items that help you boost your attack, your stamina. Because when you use moves and stuff, or climb, or jump, or run, or whatever,
And it's like full chickens and bottles of protein powder.
yeah,
and
the
stuff
protein
like that.
Yeah, the protein powders are like buffs.
Buffs.
Like they either make your attacks stronger or give you
double health. or something like that.
or
Yeah.
more stamina, stuff like
Like
that.
I said, I've watched a lot of people. play this stuff.
Yeah. It is so weird and so goofy, and I kind of dig it.
And a lot of the moves are like homages to other fighting games. Like the 100 hand slap from E Honda from Street Fighter is just in there. It's just a move you can get.
Is it you just like chip their health away and they die? That's
Yeah.
okay.
And you can run away and like heal and then come back. every fight is like, even if you get jumped by another player, you can kind of get out of it pretty easy. And if you play it smart, another player might swoop in and kind of distract the other guy, and you can go heal up or whatever. Stuff like that.
I hear the meta right now is playing as a small character and getting meditation, which is the one healing special move. Because if you're at the smallest height, you can hide inside bushes and be almost completely unseen.
That I don't know. From what I've seen of like the body choices you can get, it looked like everybody's the same height.
They must have fixed it then, because there was a point where if you picked the smallest height, you would be able to hide inside some of the geometry, and you could just hide in there and heal up.
That doesn't sound like the intended gameplay loop.
Yeah, because all the bodies are either super fat, average strong man physique, or really skinny.
Right.
It's like a Sea of Thieves character creator, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you have a choice between male or female body types. And then you can get all kinds of little cosmetic items that just put on yourself. Headgear,
business suit, and luchador mask.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The battle pass.
100%. So anyway, and then you have, you don't come out of the gate with no ability to defend yourself. You have a basic chop, and then you have a vicious strike. And the vicious strike kind of takes time to kind of wind up, and it kind of leaves you open a little bit, or they can dodge it or whatever. And then there's a block button, and there's a dodge.
Fighting game-esque.
Yeah, it's very 3D arena fighting game-esque.
I feel like you should have to pin your opponent to knock him out.
Well, there's kind of a funny thing about that. When the ring comes in, like the barrier or whatever you're supposed to stay out of, because it's a battle royale.
And it looks like the ropes from
yeah. It's a circle that encloses that have like the 3 ropes, like the red, white, and blue ropes.
The theming on it is really good.
That's clever.
That come in. But instead of taking damage like you would in a different battle royale, because all the other ones do it this way, where you take damage if you're inside the circle or outside the circle or whatever, a 10 count starts counting down. And if you're outside within the 10 count, you're just automatically, you lose. But everything else is...
So you're outside of the ring like in a wrestling match.
Yeah. You can't stay out real too long. And I think as the ring gets smaller, I think the count might get faster.
I think by the smallest ring, it's a 3 count.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because I almost got hit with it the other day because I got knocked real far out and I was really booking it to get back in.
And you can totally obliterate people if you do a pile driver from the top of a building down to the ground.
Nice.
Oh,
because damage stacks the further you fall on some of the moves.
Yeah. On that one, I also the farther you fall, the more stamina you use.
Right.
So when you hit the ground, you might not have as much move energy to be able to do something.
Right.
So anyway, so I followed some guy up a skyscraper, and he was kind of looking down. There was a fight going down below, and I did the basic chop, which knocked him off the building, and then I immediately jumped after him. And when you're in the air and you hit the chop button, you do the elbow drop. And I elbow dropped him to the street to the point where there was like a re-entry fire around my body as I was coming down. And it slammed into the ground so hard, like a fire hydrant broke. And
it looks like a lot of fun.
And I did like 400 and something damage. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think if I was doing a battle royale, if you were outside of the circle, you would be one hit kill. And that's how I would handle that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That way you have the risk and reward. Like, if there was something out there, like...
You can go
you
get
try
it.
and get it if you want to chance it.
Yeah.
Like,
trademark, copyright. I came up with that.
Well, I know like in Fortnite, as the circle gets smaller, the damage stacks. So like in the beginning of the game, it's like 2 ticks per second or whatever. And by the end of the game, it's a lot more. But also, it's harder to see in the store. But in Rumbleverse, you can see just fine. Just you got to get back in.
Right. It's a 40 player. It's not 100 player.
Yeah, it's 40 players.
It's 40 player, and I hear the entry to it is really good because the first couple of matches it is you versus all bots, and as you slowly progress through the first couple of like level points or whatever, they slowly trickle in more real players along with the bots.
That I don't know because I lost. I lost my first match.
Yeah, that is a thing. That the first couple of rounds are like 90% bot, and then they slowly feed you in more human and less robot AI.
And here I thought I was doing really good. Now you're.
I'm sorry to bring your bubble.
I feel like Splatoon might have did that the first 2 matches. Because the first couple times I played Splatoon, the player names were like a little too on brand.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, all in all, Rumbleverse is goofy fun, and it's a nice break from your standard battle royale style of game.
Well, I like the idea that it's not guns and it's
Yeah.
all third person running around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, there are some really stupid moves. Like, there are some moves that are just so broken and so great, and there are others that are just kind of eh.
We have like Zangief's her like whirlwind, like
Oh, yeah, I love that move.
arm lariat kind of thing.
I love that move.
And
there's one, it worked out so well for me. I end up finding it pretty early on in the match, but you end up grabbing a guy by the ankle and you swing him around.
Yeah.
And then you can throw them and hit them into something else.
So long, King Bowser.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, is that what he says?
On the radio, it is.
But it got near the end where there was only a couple people left and they were all fighting in one spot. And I kind of just ran in, grabbed a dude, and it hits everybody.
That's awesome.
And it's slapping them around. You see all these damage numbers.
That's
And
fantastic.
there's like an announcer that talks the whole time. when
Oh
you're
yeah, like
playing.
ringside announcer
Oh, it's
guy.
so funny. Because like if you do like a big damage or something, they're like, ooh, that's gotta hurt. This player's on fire. You know?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
This is the kind of stuff the fans want to see.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so fun. The menus and stuff are really chunky and really not fun to look at.
Well, they focused on the game just came out. They focused on the right stuff.
Yeah, because
Like-
there's some things I'm like, I get like notifications. I'm like, I don't know where to find that.
Sure. Yeah.
Like when you win a match, you get like a fan letter, and it kind of gives you like little goofy stuff, like little items here and there.
And I hear the battle pass. This is the last thing we'll have to say on it because we have to move on to the news. But I hear the battle pass for that one is pretty fair in comparison to some of the other.
I don't know.
current
I haven't
games.
really looked at it.
Yeah, I guess it is fairly easy to complete without taking up too much of your time.
Oh, yeah,
unlike
yeah.
other things like what is it?
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
Overwatch.
the leveling in Overwatch is so bad. It is taking me forever to chip away at that thing.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into some of this news.
This just in: Josh plays too many battle royales.
All right, so we teased. Well, let's go through the ones that we teased at the top of the show. Do you want a bummer or a bummer?
I'll take the bummer.
Okay, let's start with the Bayonetta 3 news because this might be the one that garners a lot of conversation.
And it's an ever-evolving story, apparently.
It is. So, Platinum Games Bayonetta 3 is coming out. Is it out now or is it coming soon?
28th, I think.
Okay, so next week. And early on in its development, we learned that the main voice actress, Helena Taylor, was not brought back to play the character for the third time. And they replaced her with a well-known voice actress, Jennifer Hale. Jennifer Hale's huge. She does everything. She's like Tara Strong. She's like one of the main voice actress names. And people were like, okay, well, maybe Helena Taylor is going to be doing another voice in the game or something like that. Maybe this ties into the plot of the game. Well, was it about a week ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, Helena Taylor put out, I don't know why I keep saying her full name. Taylor put out a video on her social media asking people to boycott the game because she claims that Platinum lowballed her to the extreme on what she would be paid to voice the character, the main character of the game.
Then she messaged Hideki Kamiya
Oh.
about it, and then they lowballed her a slightly higher number of $4,000 to voice the main character in a video game that has a lot of cutscenes.
Yes. So on the outset, it looked like, this was, pay voice actors. It is a real... voice actors are actors.
They are actors. They are actors.
And this has brought this has brought up a whole thing in the voice acting community where a lot of voice actors have been sharing how much they've made for various games. For example, the guy who did the voice of Link and Rivali and about 3 or 4 other characters in Breath of the Wild said he only got paid like $5,000 or $6,000 for doing 3 voices in a AAA million-selling game.
That was also to scale.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's an issue too.
That might be an issue.
Maybe the Screen Actors Guild should should have higher minimums on their contract.
Right. Now, I will say, in fairness, I don't know if I believe this or not, but for the point of reporting it, Platinum rebuffed the claims from Taylor, stating that she was offered $4,000 per session, and that to do all the voice acting in the game would have taken about 5 sessions. So she would have been offered more along the lines of $20,000, and that she demanded a 6-figure sum
With residuals.
Which for a company like Platinum would have been unfeasible.
Devastating.
Yeah, and they've had like a string of bad times lately with their game releases too.
Right. And
there's
then
no way they would have been financially able to recover.
they would
from
not
that.
have been able to do that.
And this is backed by like Bloomberg reporting
Yes.
too.
So this is so
like,
there's probably truth behind this, and that's when they came back when they recast. That's when they came back to her and said, "Okay, if you still want to be a part of the project, we can pay you for 1 session to do a minor character's voice," and that is more of what she's basing her claims off of.
So who knows what is actually
knows?
happening?
Typically, I trust the victim in situations, and I think voice actors are criminally underpaid and not treated with the respect they should. However, it also sounds $4,000 per session sounds a little more feasible, and it sounds more like what actually happened. The truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's what it feels like in this situation.
Yeah.
That there's somewhere between the two is the truth.
Yes. And I also feel that while protesting the game by not buying it and doing a general boycott of the game is a good gesture for the one voice actress, it is cutting out all of the people that have worked on the game and all of the other voice actors and actresses in the game and everything else. It seems a bit extreme to me, but I don't know what an alternative would be in that situation. It's kind of a weird catch-22 situation.
Yeah, you're kind of, you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna buy it when it comes out.
Well, I didn't buy 1 or 2, so I'm not going to buy 3.
I haven't played a single Bayonetta game.
I've played the first 2, but like I'm not in any hurry to get it, and this doesn't help.
Sure. I think maybe waiting until it goes on sale or waiting 6 months or a year down the road might be
used somewhere.
Getting it used somewhere might be the most ethical thing to do in this situation.
And that's what I'm planning
guess.
on, because I like the franchise a lot, but I don't know. It just feels kind of weird.
It feels weird either way.
It's
a weird one. Yeah.
Just make another
Astral Chain.
Astral Chain. Yes,
Astral Chain was great.
That was a fantastic game.
It was really fun and really good. So let's talk about the other bummer, G4, that hot video game television channel that everybody loved back in the early 2000s.
And YouTube. Is it on TV now?
It was on TV.
On TV? Okay. I wasn't sure if it was on TV or if it was just on YouTube and Twitch.
They tried. Yeah, the dinosaurs at Comcast tried to combat Twitch and YouTube content with a television station.
In a world where a lot of people have cut cable out of their lives.
Yeah. Yes. So they made a huge deal of G4 coming back. They're going to bring back all of their original programming, all of their stuff. And
Attack of the Show, X-Play, all that stuff.
All the stuff.
And Adam Sessler was coming back.
And Adam, And a year after, they shuttered it. They closed it. G4 is no more.
Immediately. There wasn't even like a trickling. It was just done.
Yeah.
DOA.
And they canceled it in the worst way possible by not letting any of their employees know until
they did a tweet about it.
They did a tweet and a article in Variety about it. In fact, one of the so a lot of YouTubers and internet personalities had been working for the station in a pretty major way. Gerard Khalil, who goes by The Completionist online, his stuff is fantastic. I really like his stuff.
He's a good dude.
He seems like a really good dude. And he just doesn't seem to be able to catch a break. He's had a lot of issues with stuff outside of his control over the years
in his career,
and yet he continues to go on
to complete it.
Complete all games. When the tweet was made,
he doesn't even have fun playing video games.
He probably doesn't. He probably doesn't. And the couple of games that I complete every now and then, yeah, I get it. It's not fun. But he said in a tweet, "Oh, fun. This is how I learned how I lost my job."
I was surprised by our Facebook page, the number of reactions we got of people being upset about it. Like, why didn't you watch it then?
Well, as I said on our Facebook page, G4 made the mistake of treading on nostalgia only. Nostalgia will only get you so far. And Josh and I were talking before the show. I think in hindsight, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. With a production company that had a better understanding of where gaming media has gone in the years since G4 leaving the first time, what they should have done was use the G4 branding as a Twitch account and on-demand YouTube channel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like what IGN does.
Yeah.
Because most IGN content I get is on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
They post trailers or gameplays or whatever.
It should have been just a channel that was on Twitch that had shows on there whenever you
From
wanted
time
watch
to
it.
time. Yes.
Even then, they could have filled it with Cops episodes on Twitch if they wanted.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
If they even had access to the stuff that was on Spike TV.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that was just an example.
Well, sure.
Because it used to
Right.
be all
It used to be
Cops until...
Cops and Ninja Warrior, and then Attack of the Show would show up every now and
Yeah,
then.
at that, like, prime time, you get Attack of the Show.
Yeah. But it's a shame, but also it was very mismanaged. And
I even thought when it said they were coming back, I was like, this ain't gonna last.
I didn't think it would
who
either.
asked for this?
Yeah. And it's just really crummy the way
It was handled. Oh
They
yeah.
put- They put Scott DeWaz on TV, you guys.
Oh man, my favorite, Scott the Waz, who I think lives in Ohio.
Yeah, he's from, like,
Toledo. Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't trash him too
Maybe we
bad on the
shouldn't.
show.
Yeah, we could get him on the show. Hey, why not? No, the whole thing was handled poorly from beginning to end, and they were treading too much on nostalgia, and that's just not going to work. Gaming media has moved past syndicated television at this point.
Oh yeah.
The whole world
Has moved past syndicated
Well,
television.
sure, but especially gaming media and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when this happened, a lot of people were blaming this one host of the new X-Play because apparently she went on a huge televised rant about gaming culture and how video game boys are awful human beings or something.
Because
That's-
they are.
yeah, I'm
But
gonna say,
the thing
where's
is,
the
they
lie?
are.
Yeah.
They are. So people were blaming her
Of course they would.
because, of course, they were.
Of course the dude bros are gonna blame the female host.
But no, it falls squarely on Comcast and poor management.
Oh yeah.
I just feel bad again for
Everybody
Khalil because he had he was going to have a short form syndicated sitcom called God of Work, where he played Kratos, the God of War, in an office setting.
That sounds like that Zorn show.
It does, but it was going to be hilarious, and he put a lot of time and his own personal funds into it. And this is again the latest in a long line of issues that he has had to overcome outside of his own control.
I got a
Including
joke.
having to remake all of his content.
All of his content after a certain point, and being part of a internet collective where multiple people in it have multiple people in the Normal Boots collective had internet problems that he had to unfortunately deal with.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, he had to write out JonTron and Pro Jared.
He sure did. He sure did. And you know who that stuck him with? Peanut Butter Gamer.
Oh.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time, I'd have like 15 cents, which isn't a lot.
It's not, but it's weird that it happened.
So
Yeah.
on the joke of like God of War in an office,
Yeah.
boy, I hate Mondays.
All right. Hey,
I had to get that out.
all right. So we have time for a couple of quick hits. Do we want to do Silent Hill stuff or Marvel stuff?
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
It's spooky time.
It's
Let's
spooky
talk about
times.
spooky games.
Let's do it.
There was a big, like a Silent Hill Direct kind of thing
From
called
Konami, yeah.
Silent Hill Transmission, which kind of came out of nowhere
Mm-hmm.
because we haven't heard anything from this franchise in like 15 years.
Right.
They announced a bunch of new Silent Hill related media and a movie. They're doing another movie directed by the guy that directed the last movie, which
Okay.
I mean isn't
the
greatest.
I saw the first one. I don't think I ever saw the second one.
It came out in a time when they were doing a ton of video game movies and they were all
bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
This one was okay.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
maybe this will be good too. I don't know. But they're also doing a remaster of Silent Hill 2, which is like trying to paint the Mona Lisa again. But
And who's it being made by?
Bloober Team, which is a Polish-based studio that makes narrative horror games that are of mediocre quality.
They're not terrible.
Yeah, they're not bad. I've played a couple of their games, never all the way through, but I've like enjoyed. It's passable horror game stuff.
But do you want passable horror in your Silent Hill 2 remake?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Also, why are they just going straight to 2? They could have at least done a 1 and 2.
It's true, and they could have at least put it on like They could have at least put like a way to play the old games on new systems too.
You could have.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's like letting the C student teach the class.
Sure.
Is what giving Bloober Team Silent Hill is.
Yeah.
It just tells you how much Konami really respects the franchise.
Actually, for Konami, it was surprisingly like
No
not
pachinko.
bad. Yeah, they didn't announce a pachinko machine. They didn't announce a mobile game with the gotcha mechanics.
Uh-huh.
They just announced.
Oh boy, I got Pyramid Head.
Yeah, they announced some kind of weird like multiplayer narrative interactive thing that has like Bad Robot is involved with making it.
Oh, weird.
It was not clear what it was. I think it was called Silent Hill Ascension.
Yes.
But they tried to explain it for a good 5 or 10 minutes, and I still don't know what it was. It's a game of some
It's a
kind.
thing that exists.
Yeah.
Or will exist.
Or will exist, yes.
And then they announced a brand new Silent Hill game called Silent Hill F that takes place in Japan. And the whole trailer wasn't any gameplay or anything, but the designs were so like killer gross.
It looked pretty good.
Like it looks really good.
Yeah.
And like I have that thing where I get grossed out by seeing like a series of holes.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called. It's like trinophobia or something.
So, yeah.
I forget what
it's
it
like
is.
trypophobia or something.
Yeah, but I get that, and this was made specifically to
skis you out.
Skis me out because there's a ton of little holes.
Okay. All right.
I mean, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't talked about Silent Hill since...
It's been a while.
What was that one that Norman Reedus was going to be in?
Oh, PT.
PT, yeah, there we go.
But it was surprisingly like positive and good for a Konami thing. Like
that's good.
Yeah, Konami hasn't really, Konami used to be one of my favorite game companies.
Oh yeah, they were top of the heap like from the mid 80s to the
early 2000s.
They were up there, and then
they all just I don't know, they just kind of just.
Well, they trapped Hideo Kojima in a room and then went to the pachinko mines.
Yeah. And then when Kojima escaped, they're just like, let's just not do video games for a while.
It's whatever.
I mean, they tried to make a Metal Gear game without Kojima, so we saw how that worked.
Yeah.
It's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, which Sony must have paid some big
Ooh,
money for that.
Yeah, they should have.
Oh,
they must have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of survival horror games, I miss Clock Tower.
Yeah, that's a good franchise.
I wish they.
The first one was good, at least.
Yeah. I kind of wish they'd
Clock
come.
Tower 2 for what it is.
For what it is.
Point and click.
Yeah.
Well, they're both 1 and 2 are both point and clicks.
Point and clicks.
Clock Tower 3 is wild. It's like a magical girl horror, survival horror game.
Uh-huh.
Madoka Magica?
Kind of.
I think Capcom owns it now.
I think they do. Yeah.
So they'll never do anything with that.
Well, no.
Because Capcom doesn't do anything with anything.
No, the Resident Evil and Street Fighter.
Resident Evil remakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
don't forget Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if we have time, there was also a Resident Evil direct thing like the next day.
Yeah.
They showed more of the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is another thing that, like, why? It still plays good. The original
Also,
still plays
the
good.
fact that it's been re-released more times than Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's...
Or GTA 6 or 5.
This doesn't need to... They just released the VR version, like, 6 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool. But I mean, it'll be good though. They are definitely trying. They showed
But
some of the
stop. Just stop.
They showed some of the footage of the beginning of the game, and it is remarkably the same.
Oh, sure.
But looks better. Like, I was surprised how.
Ooh, a slight upres.
Yeah. Well, no, it's more than a slight upres. Like, it looks really good.
I thought the original GameCube version looked pretty good for the GameCube.
Yeah, it looked good at the time, but if you went back, like,
yeah.
it's not as good as you remember.
Rose tinted glasses, all that stuff.
Yeah. They showed some of their like Resident Evil like hero shooter game, that Reverse.
Oh, Reverse,
that was supposed to come out.
Oh, that sounds dumb.
When Village did, and everybody went like, "This is dumb," and
yeah,
like, well, we'll work on it some more, and like, still looks kind of dumb.
Still looks dumb. Yeah.
I don't know. The DLC for Resident Evil Village is going to come out in like next week.
Okay.
And they showed a bunch of that, and that looks good.
Yeah, cool.
Apparently, it takes place in Rose, the daughter of the main character. It's subconscious a lot.
Oh, okay.
So
right
they're
on.
going to be free to do just whatever weird
crazy
crap
whatever.
they want. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's how they're going to bring Lady Dimitrescu back.
Well, you got to.
Yeah, fan favorite character, Lady Dimitrescu.
A tall lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that DLC, though. I'm going to get that one.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Hate to cut you off here, but we got to wrap things up. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon at Nerd Overload Now.
You can email us at staff@nerdoverload.com.
You can leave us a spooky Halloween voicemail on our hotline, 586-372-8020. Leave us a spooky, scary message, and we might play it on the show. Ah!
Sure. Yeah, that's right. You can also get all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Peace out.